Okay, so in this video, we're talking about pliers. So as an electrician, we want a good set of pliers, all right? So there's different styles of pliers. As you can see, something like this. These remind me as if like you're gonna pull some teeth out at like the dentist. They have their place, but as an electrician, you know, we're not using these for twisting wires, or you can't even cut with these things, right? Okay, now the next pair of pliers, so these ones are just really, really small, all right? And as an electrician, we want a decent, decently sized pair of pliers. It's easier to splice. Like I said, every tool has its place, okay? But we're gonna get into some real pliers for electricians. And again, I am speaking to you from a commercial electrician's point of view in this video, or also residential, okay? So when buying pliers as an electrician, there's a couple things that we look for, okay? So the first thing is the insulation grips. Do you want just the dipped insulation grip like this, or like this? As you can see, they are different colors. Usually the colors do signify different things about the pliers, which I will break down in just a moment. You can see that we have the nice Journeyman series insulation grips from Klein. All right. And then same with Greenlee, they also have the kind of dipped or the nice insulation grips as well. So when it comes to our pliers, this one's totally up to you if you want dipped. I personally did like the dipped for my pliers. I just found that they were more nimble. When I was up there splicing, it just felt really nice in my hands. I really like these. These ones right here are my favorite pliers. These ones are the D2000 NEs, all right? And I broke down what all that stuff means in the last video, but in short terms, the D is the dipped insulation. The J is the Journeyman insulation. The 2000 is the style of metal, okay? So this is a hardened steel metal. It allows you to cut through screws and stuff like that. Now, if you look at these pliers, if you're looking at just like the steel itself, from my eyes, it'd be very, very hard to see. So for Klein, you can see that it has this D213. Now, you got to be careful because this is not the hardened steel that which allows you to cut through screws. But the 9 stands for the length. So these are both 9. And then the NE is standing for the elongated head, okay? You can also get like a more square head. The elongated head is very nice because it allows you to get into places. So these pliers right here, these are not the hardened steel. So I do not suggest this because you can't cut through screws. And when you are on a construction site, if you're in a rush and let's say you have to put a screw into like just like some plywood that's on the concrete, the screw is not going to go through the wood and the concrete. Sometimes you just got to cut that screw quickly. And something like this, you just put it in there, you just cut it, you put it, you screw it and you're good to go. So it's a workflow thing. Now, the final thing I want to talk to you about is when it comes to pliers, you could be buying them with a fish tape puller, you could be buying them with a crimper, you could be buying them, it has also like the bolt holder. That's more for real lineman workers who work on power lines. Sometimes you can even get it with like a tethered thing and stuff as well. So I personally just like these basic pliers. Again, these are the D2000, and then now the 9, NE. So 9 is again how long they are. NE is for that New England kind of tapered head. And then after that, so again, if I show you this, so again, we're not looking at the D213. So you want to get the D2000. They're a little more expensive, but you're able to cut through screws, and I'm telling you, it's worth it. Because as soon as you would chip your knife blade in here, these things are so useless to use because if you're trying to cut wires, one wire always goes in that divot and they just don't cut good, okay? If you have the hardened steel, way less risk of this thing ever chipping or something like that. Like these things have taken a beating over my years. They have served me great. Now, in addition to the NE, because these don't have a fish tape puller, okay? Sometimes people think that this is a fish tape puller or that this is a fish tape puller. No, like you would actually have a flat surface to put that fish tape in. And in my experience, I've always felt that that fish tape puller still even kinks the wire. Obviously not as bad as this, right? Like this kinks it like ridiculously bad. Never put your fish tape in there. But sometimes you can have the fish tape puller and it would be TP for that designation. Sometimes you can have a crimper and it's down here and it could have CR at the end of this as a designation and you can crimp. I, again, always suggest to you guys, if you want to buy crimpers, buy the crimping tool. It'll allow you to crimp insulated and non-insulated crimps, and it's at the front. and it even allows you to cut at the same time. So it's just a workflow thing. It's very easy. When the crimp is down here, I've always just found it annoying that, like, let's say the wire's here, like you'd have to like put it over the wire and then you have to line it up and then you got to crimp it, right? If it's up here at the front, it's just so fast. And that's just my own experience. I like the 9-inch. I've never used an 8-inch or 7-inch. There are those ones as well. These are what you call a side cutting plier because it cuts on the side here. They're also what's called high leverage. If you're gonna go cut screws, so that high leverage helps you cut a lot easier. You can look at the grips. I personally do like the dipped grip on the pliers. On the side cutters, I do like the Journeyman series, so like the more kind of comfier grips. This one actually has the J2000, okay? So again, these are the side cutters, right? So diagonal cutters. The 2000 is saying that these can also cut through screws. All right. I was always a little careful with the side cutters cutting through screws. For example, if I wasn't way high up on a ladder, I would use these always. So that is the insulation. These are D, right? These ones are J. 2000 is signifying the hardened steel. This one is that 213. You got to be very, very careful because you cannot cut through screws. And I'm telling you, it's worth the extra price. If you would want to be buying the fish tape puller or the crimpers, again, that's totally up to you. I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. I really did like these Greenlees when I first started up, but over time, the insulation grips did go. I could have glued them. I shared with you in a previous video that I was able to pull them off, and I was actually able to hit with the metal, like if you're on slabs. So these ones by Klein definitely are my top pair of pliers, which I recommend to you guys. They don't have any fish tape puller on them. They don't have no crimper. It's just the perfect pair of pliers. They're nice and nimble to be able to get into kind of tighter areas. That's why I like these styles of grips. But again, you can get it with the J, right? That's going to give you the insulation grips. So if you guys got any questions, make sure to check out my other video about Klein Tools Pliers, or just leave a comment. And again, if you would like to download my free book for apprentice electricians, just go to becominganelectrician.com/subscribe, sign up with your email, and I'll email you the book absolutely for free. And again, if you guys ever got questions, visit the website, use the contact page, and thanks for checking out the video.